I hereby call the special meeting of May 13th, 2025 to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Beck,
Here?
Vice Mayor Crawford.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Finn.
Here.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Stokes.
Here.
Councilmember Dunn.
Here.
Councilmember Bullock.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Our only item on the agenda today is to call for executive session. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
It's a race for second, third, and fourth. Please vote. Competitive today. It's a business meeting.
Can you vote?
I did. All my buttons are not working. I turned the microphone on, nothing happened.
Motion
Needs to push his buttons.
Put a support.
All right, and it passes 7-0. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Peoria City Council meeting. I hereby call the meeting of May 13th, 2025 to order. Those who are able, please stand for the invocation by Reverend Kyle Lane, Peoria Fire and Medical Chaplain, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you bow your heads, please? Most merciful God, we're grateful tonight to be in this chamber to engage in and observe the practice of governance. We know that those in this chamber take this task seriously and desire to govern and manage the city responsibly with wisdom and with compassion. We're grateful for the elected leaders in this room who have accepted the responsibility to lead the city during this time. They have accepted this responsibility with solemnity and with intention to make the city of Peoria a safe, sustainable, and forward-thinking community. We're grateful for their priorities of innovative government, economic development, water security, and public safety. We know that these priorities will make our city stronger and more secure in the present, but also for future generations. We're grateful for the city manager and his assistant managers who carry the burden of executing the responsible stewardship of the city's resources, while also caring for the employees who work on the front lines day in and day out. Their task is often difficult, but they continue to manage in the present with an eye to the future. We're grateful for those women and men on the front lines of the work of the city, carrying out the tasks their jobs demand. We're grateful for the supervisors at every level helping to accomplish the work that the city has been given to do. We know that in each department there are men and women who go above and beyond just the management of tasks and strive to exemplify service to others, and for them we are thankful. We pray tonight, as we always do, for the men and women in our public safety departments. We ask for your protection for the firefighters and police officers who are on duty, even as we meet in this place. We know the dangers they face, and we ask that you watch out for them as they protect the citizens of and the property within the city of Peoria. Grant all these our prayers, we pray. In the name of the Sacred Three, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Beck,
Here.
Vice Mayor Crawford,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Finn,
Here.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Stokes,
Here.
Councilmember Dunn,
Here.
Councilmember Bullock.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. If anyone would like to address the council about a matter, this is the final call, and please submit the speaker request form at this time. First, we are going to do the Young Artist Showcase. Then we are going to move on into several CFDs. To introduce the showcase, I would like to recognize staff at this time.
Mayor Beck and members of the City Council, it's truly an honor to be here before you this evening as we recognize and celebrate the talents of our featured artists in Peoria's Young Artist Program. Public art is an essential component of our collective community pride, and it adds to the exceptional quality of life that we know and love here in Peoria. The City of Peoria and Peoria Unified School District have worked together to advance the quality of life in Peoria through several arts initiatives. The recognition of some of our most talented artists in our community begins right here with this showcase. We recognize that none of this is possible without the support of our dedicated arts educators who are in the classroom every day influencing our future leaders. Please join me in applauding the incredible teachers and arts educators in the Peoria Unified School District. I'd also like to thank Dr. Casey Summers, Superintendent of the Peoria Unified School District, Dr. Teresa Hernandez, Chief Academic Support Officer, as well as the incredible arts education team that includes Mr. Robert Panzer, Stacy Hamilton, and Julie Lujan. Your dedication to excellence in providing superior arts education is why the creative class will lead the way in creating a bright future for Peoria. Art, in all its forms, is a gateway to creative thinking and problem solving. Art inspires community identity, community pride, and community culture. Art is a catalyst for economic development, jobs, increased revenue, and innovative outcomes across all industries. Simply put, the arts makes us a better and more productive and more innovative human. The exemplary arts program, arts education that Peoria Unified is known for not only enriches student lives, but also contributes to the community, fostering creativity, innovation, and excellence across a variety of industries. There are no limits to how the arts and culture sector can contribute to the quality of life in Peoria. We're fortunate enough to have the artwork of 28 artists from 16 schools that have been displayed in the Pine Room in City Hall. We're going to honor those students tonight. Our arts and culture team works to frame and hang each piece of art in City Hall, and now the students will take those home to enjoy them with their families, along with a certificate of recognition from the city. I'd also like to thank Suzanne Anisette and Richard Schultz for their hard work to make this program possible. Mr. Mayor? Yeah. From Skyview Elementary School, Connor Skinner. Lily Valdez. From Peoria Elementary School, Erica Zuniga. From Pioneer Elementary School, Joyce Wen. From Santa Fe Elementary School, Aaliyah Jones. Kenley Threadgill. From Kachina Elementary School, Miles McCoy. Audrey Mendoza. From Foothills Elementary School, Diana Rocha Martinez. Ariana Tops. From Peoria Traditional School, Ava Barajas. Charlie Bush. From Oasis Elementary School, Amber Cockerham. Chloe Martins. Sunset Heights Elementary School, Emma Spolyar. Everly Dow. From Sun Valley Elementary, Liliana Renteria. Mila Hubbard. From Zuni Hills Elementary, Jason Ababin. Jake Sullinger. From Park Ridge Elementary, Braden Mullins. Ariana Miller. From Sundance Elementary, Abimel Aguilar Montejano. Trinity Rawl. From Desert Valley, Layla Semin. Grayson Beebe. From Saguaro Ranch Elementary, Sophia Chavaria. We are so fortunate to be immersed in such talent and creative energy. Please give all of our fine young artists and educators a round of applause.
Thank you, parents. You still want to read it? You still want to read it? They're all leaving. It's all good. Yeah. We should post something, we should have them posted on social media, on our account, on the city account. Hey, Mike. Mike. Yourself. Yourself. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, pretty close. Thank you. All right, we will now adjourn the regular meeting to consider CFDs. This is a process that we have to go through, so I would like, this is always a fun one. We should just put this on record. I would like to call the Mystic Lake Pleasant Heights Community Facilities Board meeting to order. Will the clerk please note the roll? We will now move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine in nature and we will be enacted by one motion unless request for removal has prior approval. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor, I so move for the Mystic at Lake Pleasant Heights Community Facilities District Board meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. There being no further business, I hereby declare the CFD board meeting adjourned. I would like to now call the Vistancia North Community Facilities District Board meeting to order. Will the clerk please note the roll? We will now move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion unless request for removal has prior approval. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second? Second. Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Motion carries.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. There being no further business, I hereby declare the CFD board meeting adjourned. I would like to call the Vistancia Community Facilities District Board meeting to order. Will the clerk please note the roll? We will now move onto the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion unless request for removal has been received prior approval. Do I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
Motion to approve all items.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Councilmember Edwards? Motion passes.
And it passes 7-0. There being no further business, I hereby declare the CFD board meeting adjourned. I would like to call the Vistancia West Community Facilities District Board meeting to order. Will the clerk please note the roll? We will now move on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion unless request for removal has prior approval. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Do I have a second? Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And it passes 7-0. There being no further business, I hereby declare the CFD board meeting adjourned. I would like to reconvene the regular meeting. That's about 18 of these things now. Will the clerk please note the roll? We will now move on to the regular meeting consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion unless a request for removal has been received for prior approval, which I have received none. Do I have a motion to approve the regular consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Sounds like I have a second and a third and a fourth. Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. Regular agenda. We will now move on to the regular agenda and to introduce new business. I now recognize City Manager Mr. Henry Darwin to introduce 23R.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item on the regular agenda is Agenda Item 23R and Agenda Item 24R. And we have here at the table with us Planning Director Chris Hawkes, who's going to present the next two items, which will require two separate votes. A general plan amendment to facilitate the development of a commercial business park, followed by a rezone for the same acreage. Chris, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Darwin. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As we mentioned, there are two agenda items before us. Item 23R is a minor general plan amendment, and 24R is a rezone. They both pertain to a site that's about 5.6 acres in size that is located in the vicinity of the Cebola Vista Resort. The cases tonight, they were filed by the applicant, Adam Baugh, from the law firm of Withey Morris Baugh. They're filed on behalf of the property owner, which is the Evergreen Investment Company. Should the cases be approved, this would facilitate the development of the site into a multi-tenant commercial and business park with a building of roughly 62,000 square feet. More specifically, 23R, minor general plan amendment. The applicant is seeking to redesignate the property from urban residential, 12-plus units per acre, to a new land use designation of office local commercial. And then the associated case of 24R, the rezone, that seeks to rezone the property from general agricultural to a planned area development, or PAD. As an aside, general plan and zoning are often misunderstood. They're not the same. So on 23R, the general plan designation, this is high level and provides land use policy guidance for the rezone of the property. The second item, 24R, that's the rezone. That is a regulatory tool that establishes the specific property development standards. It tells us what land uses and under what operating restrictions apply. It also tells us things like setbacks, parking, building height, and so forth. The PAD, or planned area development, this is a tailored zoning district. This allows us to tailor or adjust the development standards to the development plan that's proposed and also the context for the area. So every PAD is unique in the way it's structured. This is a blow-up of the area. Again, the site is identified in red on the screen. Contextually, to the north and east is vacant land that's owned by the Cebola Vista Resort. To the south is about 21 acres that extends all the way to the Joe Max Road alignment. This was the site that formerly had a request for multifamily by Prestige Homes. As you know, that case was withdrawn late last year. And then to the west, you have Lake Pleasant Parkway, a limited access parkway, and across from that, some commercial uses and Pleasant Valley Estates. Now, contextually, the site is along a major north-south spine through the city. The nearest signalized intersections are at Pinnacle Vista to the north and also Joe Max Road to the south over here. The site is viewed not only as an infill site, but also transitional, as it occupies space between busy Lake Pleasant Parkway frontage and less intense residential land uses east of the wash in Cebola Vista. And finally, in terms of its land use disposition or history, a few years ago, you may recall, this site was the subject of a rezone for a build-to-rent multifamily community. That proposal ultimately did not garner community support and was withdrawn in 2023. So what we have here today, this is a very different proposal for a commercial business park. So the proposal itself consists of a flex office or business park. On the screen is the conceptual site plan. So just to orientate you, at the bottom of the picture there, that is Lake Pleasant Parkway, and on the left-hand side of the screen, that is going north along Lake Pleasant Parkway. So the applicant, they envision one building of approximately 62,000 square feet in size, and they're looking at up to 10 tenant spaces. Now, each of these tenant spaces would range between 3,000 and 15,000 square feet in size. So in the PAD, again, a tailored zoning document, while there is a schedule of permitted land uses, the targeted businesses include the following. They include flex office, medical, retail, and limited business park uses. And we'll touch on the latter in the course of this presentation. But it's also important to note what is not contemplated or not permitted in the PAD, and that includes things like drive-through restaurants, gas stations, car washes, mini storage. While those may be necessary in some contexts, they're certainly not always desired, as you know, and that is not part of the PAD that's being proposed for this project. What you have on the screen here is a couple of conceptual renderings so that you can see visually how the site is contemplated to look and feel. So the maximum height here is proposed in the PAD to be 39 feet. It's a one-story building. To provide a relative context, single-family homes can typically go up to 30 feet in height, so what we're talking about is a relatively low-lying commercial building here. I should also point out, too, that, again, these are just renderings right now. If this project moves forward, they would have to go through site plan and design review, and in that vein, then we work with them on the actual architecture of the site and making sure that it meets our design guidelines. So next, we'll go into the staff analysis. We'll start with the general plan amendment. On the screen is the existing general plan land use for the area. So as I mentioned earlier, general plan is not zoning. It provides high-level aspirational, but it also sets the stage for the rezoning of the site. So the site today, you can see it with red outline, it's orange. The orange category is urban residential, 12 units per acre. It's more of a multifamily type of designation. What they're proposing to do is redesignate the site to an office local commercial. So a little bit of context here. Prior to 2019, the site had a designation of residential low, which is that yellow category that you see Pleasant Valley, you see it at Cibola Vista, that's a single-family category. With the 2000 general plan, the 2020 general plan update, the site was redesignated to urban residential. In the contemplation of that, there were a number of natural constraints that were identified, fractured property ownerships, and the thinking was that it still retained a residential disposition, but provided more of a buffer between Lake Pleasant and also introduced alternate housing types. We fast forward to 2020 and beyond. What we've learned is that commercial applications and growth continue to occur. We also recognize that, as I mentioned, multifamily did not garner community support on the site. Most importantly, the council has prioritized economic development, and so the protection of Lake Pleasant Parkway frontage becomes part of that contemplation. So in working with the applicant, the site is regular. It's at a mid-block location, and we're still dealing with fractured property ownerships in the area. But the office local commercial category, it provides for lower intensity commercial opportunities and is more in line with the desires of the council and the community. This graphic identifies the current zoning in the area. The site is currently zoned as general agricultural. So the applicant is seeking to rezone the site from ag to a PAD to be in line with a new proposed designation of office local commercial instead of the existing urban residential. So again, the zoning, this is the regulatory basis for the development of the site. And again, as I mentioned, it tells us what can go and how it can be developed. And so when we look at the rezoning case, we're looking to see if we agree with the general plan change. We look to see, does the PAD, does the zoning project, does it conform with that proposed general plan designation? So again, as I mentioned earlier, there are targeted business types. There's also, they're targeting what's called limited business park uses, and how does that fit into the office local commercial category? So again, we're not talking about industrial scale business park uses. The PAD allows us to limit the size of a use, the number of uses, and put in place operating restrictions. So the applicant has introduced and defined a new land use type, artisan or makerspace, and light design and production, along with wholesaling and warehousing and distribution. So the gist here is that they are working with hand tools for the artisan space or small scale machinery, basically an after production finish. They're not building something from scratch. They're taking something, modifying it or assembling it, and creating an end product. Also room for, as I mentioned, small scale warehousing and wholesaling. So that is the land use that they are looking for. But in particular, the artisan space and the maker space, this is going more after that niche market type of use. This is where the entrepreneurship comes into play. These are the types of spaces that are often sought out that may not be available in many parts of the city. So when we talk about the operating restrictions, one of the land uses that was identified in the PAD was power sports dealership, which includes UTV, ATV sales. Now, in some locations, in other parts of the valley, you may notice that vehicles are sometimes displayed outside. That is not the interest here, not the desired here, and out of respect for the community, these are limited to indoor use and indoor display only. Also, there could only be one business of this type in this development, and the business would have to have a maximum of 15,000 square feet as the lease area. With respect to makerspace or light design and production, there could be a maximum of 2 businesses within this space, a maximum of 10,000 square feet. If a tenant desires to go up to 15,000 square feet, that'll require a conditional use permit. So that's a process that requires planning commission approval. It's a public hearing process. Same thing with wholesaling warehousing. Again, maximum of 1 business can go here, maximum 7,500 square foot lease size. Again, if I go up to 10,000 square feet, there is a conditional use permit process. So with the CUP process, what that allows us to do as a community is to look at the traffic and understand if there's any additional mitigation warranted. It allows us to provide that additional level of scrutiny and if warranted, to further condition those land uses. Some additional limitations to talk about. No outdoor uses or storage will be permitted, and roll-up doors are required to remain closed. In terms of building height, just to give it, I mentioned earlier that the building has a maximum height of 39 feet. When comparing it to other typical commercial and business park zoning districts, they allow up to 48 feet. So we're talking about a lower lying building, again, no more than 1 story on this one. And lastly, traffic. What you see on the screen is a little busy, but let me walk you through it. As you know, Lake Pleasant Parkway, this is a limited access parkway. Primary access to the site will be from shared access between the site and what's identified there as Prestige. Again, Prestige was withdrawn, but the property to the south. You'll see it, that blue line that comes between the site and the property to the south. So in order to have increased turning movements, a median break will be provided on Lake Pleasant Parkway and what we call a LILO, which is a left-in, left-out turning movement. So it provides full movement into the site. Essentially, for comparison purposes, is what you see near Uncle Sam on 83rd Avenue, where you can take a left out going southbound on 83rd or going northbound as well, or left in from going southbound on 83rd. So this allows shared access from Evergreen and whatever develops in the future on the parcel to the south when it develops. It also provides for secondary access to the Cibola Vista parcel to the east. So what this does is this allows traffic to go onto Lake Pleasant Parkway quicker and away from the residential. It also takes the pressure off any potential turnaround movements that might occur at the intersections. Secondary access to the site is also provided on the Evergreen site, as you may have seen on the site plan. That will be right in, right out access, and it's north of this circle here. So there'll be 2 points of access to the site. As you know, with a general plan and rezone, we do have a public outreach process that we require. We start with a notice of application that goes to all property owners within a 600-foot radius and all HOAs within a mile. Postcards are also sent out when there is a neighborhood meeting and then finally when it's ready for hearing, a notice of hearing. It was posted in accordance with city requirements. In terms of the neighborhood meeting, there were 2 meetings that were held. The first meeting was held June 25th of last year. That was an in-person meeting. We did not have any members of the public in attendance. The second meeting was through a remote means. That was held on August 14th at 6 o'clock, and also we had no members of the public in attendance. Throughout the life of this project, we have not received any support or opposition to this. Very different experience than what we had from the prior case when it was multifamily. Mayor and Council, this went to Planning and Zoning Commission. We held a public hearing on April 3rd. There were no speakers present in support or opposition to the case, and after deliberation, the Commission voted 4-0 to recommend approval to the City Council. So as I summarize the case, here are the key findings. We believe that the change in designation, the PAD request is in conformance with the community and council's economic goals. We believe it also provides for that next level entrepreneurial ownership, opportunities, and it increases the range of business opportunities in the city. The PAD has been constructed and structured to provide for a context-sensitive transition, provides transition from the single-family east of the Wash to Lake Pleasant Parkway, and we believe when all of these restrictions are put in place and operated in the manner it's intended, it will provide and not expected to have adverse impact on neighboring properties. So Mayor and Council, with that, that's it. The 2 recommended actions tonight. Item 23R, we are recommending approval of the general plan amendment as recommended by Planning and Zoning Commission. and also with the rezoning 24R, also as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission. I know the applicant is here as well tonight, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Councilor Bullock.
Thank you, Chris. This originated before my time on the council, since I just started mid-January. I've tried to do my due diligence. I met with the developer. I've met with you twice, and thank you for taking me through this whole thing. I put it in my email newsletter that I send out to constituents, and I received about 10 responses back. The common questions were, can we ensure that there's, and I know you said this, but just I want to make sure that I'm understanding it perfectly clear, nothing can be stored out back. So it's not a traditional industrial park where there's, I'm making this up, barrels out back, there's pallets out back, there's inventory sitting out back. That is not allowed, no matter what, correct?
Councilor Bullock, that is correct. No outdoor storage is permitted.
Good. And second thing is, the first rendition we saw was very basic, kind of plain. I realize they're architectural renditions. What type of opportunity does the city is able to impose, is the wrong word, it's the only thing that comes to my mind, a more attractive design that fits with, for example, the Cibola Vista Resort right next to it, which is very nice, the nicer upscale area around there. What opportunities do we have to be able to, and I talk with the developer and they're fully open to it, but obviously at some point it has to be, in essence, mandated to be able to create a certain look, a certain facade. What opportunities do we have to make that happen? Because it's only basically the two things I received back from my emails that I sent out about this project.
Mayor, Councilmember Bullock, if these items were to progress forward, the next step would be for the submittal of a site plan application and design review. So part of that, we're going to look at not only the site layout, but the architecture. And so you're right, to your point, the buildings look fairly basic, so we have architectural design guidelines that address the building undulation, the roofline treatment, also change in building materials and colors, and also there's just a number of things that we look at. And so what you see tonight will be very different than when it comes in for design review.
Any other comments? Nope. Okay, so we're going to do this in two positions. So we're going to set, council, do I have a motion to approve agenda item 23R?
Mayor, I propose that we, learned I could talk here. I recommend that we approve item 23R as stated.
Do I have a second? Second. Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. Council, do I have a motion to approve 24R?
Oh, go ahead, John. Sorry. No, please.
I'll second.
So we have a second, a first, a second, and a third. Council, please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. I now recognize, thank you, Chris. I now recognize City Manager Henry Darwin to introduce 25R.
Thank you, Mayor. 25R, we have Deputy City Manager Kevin Burke and our Chief Financial Officer Sean Kendall, who are going to present our 10-year CIP, our Capital Improvement Program, for your approval. I see Don's here, too.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yeah, we're in the next step in our budget approval process. Again, as City Manager Darwin noted, our CFO, Sean Kendall, and our budget manager are here tonight. Who's missing is our fearless budget leader, Peter Christensen, whose son is, he's off this week. His son is graduating from Duke Law School, which is pretty impressive and calls into question if it's really his kid, but we gave him the time off anyway. But anyways, I know, he'll appreciate that.
He's not very dedicated.
That was very impressive. So tonight, we come before you with the Capital Improvement Program, and I'll turn this over to Mr. Kendall.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burke. Mayor, Council, we're here tonight. We've got a couple of items to talk about on the budget. This is the first one. It is our 10-year Capital Improvement Program. And just to recap kind of where we're at, excuse me, in the budget adoption process, we had the council budget study session on March 26th. Tonight, we will be before you with the 10-year capital improvement program, and also we'll be bringing next the tentative budget. Then on June 3rd, we'll hold public hearings for the utility rates, truth in taxation, and for the final budget. And then we will also, after the hearings, ask for adoption on the utility rates and the final budget on June 3rd. And then the final step of it will be, we'll come back on June 17th to ask for the property tax adoption. So our capital improvement program, for the 10-year CIP program, it's at $1.9 billion that we're looking at over the next 10 years. The fiscal year '26 capital budget accounts for $572 million of that. And of that capital budget for '26, $294 million is carried over from fiscal year '25. However, we do have some big projects that are really kicking into gear right now, so we expect a lot more spending than what we've had. There are a total of 266 projects in the 10-year plan, and as you look at that chart, you can see with the exception of fiscal year '26, we're trying to pretty well spread those out to a level that we feel like is achievable within the capital program. So what are we doing with that $1.9 billion? If you look at this pie chart, you'll see a little over a third of that will be used for water and wastewater projects. And then additionally, we have a little over a quarter of that will be used on the Peoria Innovation Corps. And this just highlights the emphasis of the council priorities, water sustainability and economic development. Then next kind of up in that, streets and traffic control are about 17% of the budget. We need to keep our roads, keep people safe with that. So then the next question is, how are we paying for it? About 22%, so almost a quarter of it, we're anticipating the use of debt in some form or another. It could be general obligation bonds, it could be water and wastewater bonds, could be maybe some excise tax bonds, but some sort of debt mechanism to spread the cost over some time and do that. We also have, since a lot of this capital program is involving growth, our growth projects, we're able to use impact fees, developer impact fees, to pay for a lot of this. So that's 20% of our $1.9 billion is planned out of developer impact fees. And then we have another almost 20% from the Peoria Innovation Corps. So I said we were spending a lot on Peoria Innovation Corps. The way that is structured is we anticipate getting reimbursed for a lot of our initial investment in that, and then reinvesting that back into the Peoria Innovation Corps. So as we get paid for it, we'll reinvest in additional infrastructure in that area. And then the other areas, utility rates do account for a portion of this, as well as the transportation sales tax and dedicated streets funds that we have for that. All right, so what are some changes that happened from the budget study session to this tentative, or to this 10-year plan that we have? We added a project for the recreation center at Paloma Community Park. That was $3 million. Now, this is only for design of that project. This does not include construction. We have not built into the funding plan construction for this. So we're just looking at design. If we do decide to move forward as a city with this, we will have to revisit the funding mechanisms and figure out what the funding source for this is. But we did find the money out there. We had some ability to bring in the $3 million for design. We also added Peoria Sports Complex auxiliary field improvements. That was $10 million. We were able to do this by using some of the capacity in our half-cent tax that we had reserved for economic development. So we had held back some capacity for future economic development. This is an economic development project, so we are planning on using some of it for that. How we utilize that capacity is still a little bit up in the air. We're not sure. We'll have to look at, do we pay for it straight out of cash? Do we do some financing on this project? We're still working out that, and it depends kind of on where we are with some of the other economic development stuff and how fast things are moving. And then finally, we added a project for emergency communication equipment. This was $4 million, and we were able to add this because we anticipate getting outside sources to pay for this. We're looking at some grant possibilities to fund this project. So that's where you see the difference in the program level from what we had in the budget sessions. And with that, we're asking tonight to adopt a resolution 2025-54 approving the fiscal years 2026 through 2035 capital improvement program, and we're happy to take any questions at this time.
Anything? Thank you.
Okay.
So council, I have no speaker requests for 25. So do I have a motion to approve agenda item 25R?
I'll second.
Do I have a third?
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Please vote.
Sorry.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. Now recognize, thank you, gentlemen. Now recognize City Manager Mr. Andrew Darwin to introduce 26R.
Thank you, Mayor. As you can see, those at the table are not making any motions as if they're going to leave. So I will go ahead and introduce them because we do have a different item, but related item to discuss. We still have Deputy City Manager Kevin Burke at the table, and he and his staff will present the tentative budget for fiscal year 2026. Please note that the final adoption will happen at our meeting scheduled for June 3rd. Kevin, please.
Thank you, Manager Darwin. That's exactly right. So again, this is our next step. Now that we have the capital improvement plan in place, we then take the first year out of that, put it into the budget, and we adopt a maximum piece. To that, again, I'll have CFO Sean Kindle and Don Jenkins, our budget manager, speak to this item.
Okay, so the second item tonight is the tentative budget. I won't go through the whole schedule again because we just saw it, but tonight, that's the second action that we're looking for. The thing to remember on the tentative budget is this sets our maximum spending authority, okay? So once this is approved, from this point on in the process, we cannot increase that spending authority, okay? The budget's still a little bit flexible maybe, but that upper ceiling will not change. So a little bit about the budget summary. This budget is a balanced and sustainable budget, and that's important. By state law, we're required to have a balanced budget, but a balanced budget isn't always sustainable. We want ours to be sustainable, which basically means we are using ongoing revenue sources to pay for all of our ongoing costs. That makes it a sustainable budget, means we can do it year after year. We're not digging ourselves a hole. The budget, we believe, makes substantial progress on the council priorities. We talked a little bit about that with the capital program. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. It includes no tax rate increases. So our sales tax will remain at 1.8% for general retail. Our property tax will remain at $1.44 per $100 limited assessed valuation. And that's combined primary and secondary rate at $1.44. It does include some modest utility rate increases. So the budget does anticipate a 5.5% increase this year for fiscal year 26 and a 5.1% utility rate increase for fiscal year 27. The budget also accounts for inflation, so we're able to maintain our current level of services despite rising costs in many areas through this budget. And the budget was prepared consistent with principles of sound financial management. The principles of sound financial management is kind of our guidebook for how we manage the city, how we take care of it. It's very important that we stick to that. That allows us to have the good bond ratings that we have. That's one of the things that the rating agencies look at is, do we have good policies out there and do we stick to them? So we're doing that within this budget. All right, the budget is $1.192 billion this year. We passed the billion mark. So 48% of that is that capital budget that we talked about just a moment ago. Operations account for about 40% of the budget, and about 50% of those operations are employee costs. So it's 50% overall, it's about 75% if you're just looking at the general fund. We also have about 5% of our costs are in paying off debt that we currently have outstanding. So our debt service costs run about 5% of our total. And we set aside about 7% of the spending authority for things that we don't know about yet. So unanticipated events, unexpected things that might happen, we set aside an amount of money. Remember that we said this sets the maximum spend authority. So if it's all programmed out right now, something unexpected happens, we have no way to handle that, no way to react. So we set aside 7%. We cannot use that 7% without coming back to council with a request for how to use that. All right, I talked about employees being a big part of the operating budget, so I just wanted to touch real quick on employee compensation changes this year. Total adjustments to employee compensation were about $14.9 million, and that is about 76% of the increase year over year in the operating budget. That's accounted for through a 2.9% COLA and about a 5% merit increase. We also have 3 new MOUs with AFSCME, PPOA, and COPS that are taking effect July 1st, 2025, and those MOUs are built into this budget. Additionally, we had a 2.8% increase in health insurance costs. That's not that bad in this environment to have. We're pretty pleased with the way that we've held the healthcare costs down. So that makes up our employee compensation.
Can I just make a quick correction? It's FFA and not PPOA that's going to affect.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Thank you.
Just
Appreciate that. All right, our supplemental requests this year, these are the changes from last year's budget. We had one-time supplementals that totaled $25 million. These are requests for things that do not take ongoing monies. We had about $13.5 million in ongoing requests. Included in that was the addition of 38 new positions, 32 in the general fund and 6 from other funds. The cost of the new positions is about $5.7 million, and then costs directly attributable to inflation was about $6.8 million. I just said we added 38 new positions in this. 21 of those positions were in police and fire medical. And if you look at the last 2 years, we've added about 80 positions to the city. 52 of those were in police and fire. So again, it re-emphasizes the commitment to council priority of public safety. We talked, the capital side picks up a lot of the water sustainability and the economic development. The operating side picks up a lot of the public safety. So what did we change? We did not change the total amount of the budget, but we were able to move, we had a request to move the Veterans Day celebration from one-time requests that we would ask for every year to an ongoing request. We were able to do that because we identified some savings in the All-American Festival that we could pull, so that was already in ongoing. We pulled $40,000 out of that, put it over for Veterans Day. We did allow that $40,000 that we had in one-time spending to stay with arts, culture, and library so that they can supplement their programs in any way that they need to with that. And with that, we have the request of adopting the resolution to approve the fiscal year 2026 tentative budget in the amount of $1,192 million, and we're happy to take any questions at this time.
Councilor Bullock.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to Kevin, and thank you to Sean, and just, it's probably more of a statement than necessarily a question. I received a lot of emails, constituents concerned that, hey, I'm sort of new. Did I learn everything before looking at this? And I just want to tell you and your staffs, I spent roughly, actually a little bit over 26 hours between police and fire and water services, meeting between 2 and 4 hours with every single department to make informed, and I just want to tell you, thank you for, you and I had phone calls and emails over the weekend as well to make sure I understood everything of the budget. And it's not just, oh, accept it as is. And I'm overjoyed at the Paloma Park, start that process of designing. Thank you for supporting that. But anyway, just thank you to city staff. They literally took the time. They understood that I really wanted to learn, and I want to make a decision as best I could based on knowledge. So again, thank you for 26 hours of your time just to understand this and to make sure that we got things for my district and for the council and for everybody else that made the most sense. So thank you very much.
Council, do I have a motion to approve agenda item 26R?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second? Please vote.
Councilmember Dunn, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Thank you.
And it passes 7-0. Thank you. Thank you for your time. We now will move to the, I now recognize City Manager Henry Darwin to give his report.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor and Council. I just have a few items to go over this evening. The first is related to a partnership that we have with the Grand Canyon University's Colangelo College of Business, where we together launched the GCU Entrepreneur Training Program on April 1st. This consisted of weekly in-person classes focusing on the idea innovation stage. 9 businesses participated in a demo day pitch event on May 1st, where they were vying for the title of the People's Choice and Innovation Award. Nikki Ortega, the owner of Spicy Sassy Dulces, won the award. She received $4,000 to grow her business of handcrafted food items that are vegan, gluten-free, and dye-free for sweet lovers with food allergies. The program ramps up again in June, and Economic Development is accepting applications from Peoria entrepreneurs to join. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about and celebrating a piece of legislation that was signed by Governor Hobbs just yesterday. It's House Bill 2387. Our police department played a pretty significant role in both drafting this legislation and getting it through the process. Our chief of police testified at least once, if not twice, at the legislature in support of this bill. And this goes to show that our police officers are unwilling to accept their inability to protect our residents. We had several incidents in the past year where we had residents that were taken advantage of by criminals that were using Bitcoin kiosks to lure our residents into depositing large amounts of money and that we were unable to recover. This was incredibly frustrating to our police officers, to our council, and rather than just giving up, they asked what they could be doing to create laws to protect not only our residents, but all state of Arizona residents from this type of predatory behavior that criminals are using through these Bitcoin kiosks. So our chief of police and officers within the police department worked with several other interested parties to draft legislation and testify to the legislation through the process. And there are now protections in place not only for Peoria residents, and by the way, these are predominantly senior citizens that are taken advantage of by being told that their family members are being abused or are in need of some sort of financial assistance, large amounts of money, that there are protections that did not exist a year ago will exist once this legislation goes in effect, in large part because of the work of our police department going above and beyond their normal duties to protect the citizens, not only in Peoria, but the state of Arizona. And I know they spent a lot of time on this, and congratulations, Chief, to you and those who worked on this effort. Speaking of the police department, they have also instituted a pilot project using civilian police investigators to aid in solving crimes. This helps us free up sworn officers for more immediate and high-risk responses. A recent success story of this program involves a police investigator, Ponce. She was dispatched to a call where a citizen found 2 handguns in a bush. Police investigator Ponce's investigative skills quickly linked the handguns to a case involving the Phoenix Police Department and a stolen vehicle pursuit that crossed through Peoria. She contacted the Phoenix PD and learned that the suspects were also involved in a kidnapping in Mesa. The firearms were used in the commission of these crimes. She contacted the case agent in Mesa and arranged for the firearms to be released to them. Her diligence and effective communication with multiple agencies ensured the evidence collected will aid in the prosecution of those suspects responsible for the above-listed crimes and contributing to the successful resolution of a violent kidnapping investigation. We're just talking about the budget and the hiring of new police officers and firefighters to help us carry forward the wishes of the council in focusing on public safety. This is an idea that the chief of police brought to me in diverting other police officers to more dangerous situations and hiring civil investigators to save us their efforts and reserve them for those types of investigations. So just an example of us doing our best to try to save some money and be more effective. Public safety isn't just the responsibility of our police and fire departments. Another thing that I have learned in my time here at Peoria is you'll never hear our employees saying, that's not my job. And I'm about to show you a video where this becomes readily apparent. We have recently installed or bought equipment that has cameras on our solid waste trucks. And what you're going to see in the video here is a pretty significant accident that occurred in Peoria, and a couple of our solid waste garbage truck drivers going to the aid of a resident. So I won't spend much time describing the video because it kind of speaks for itself. So this is at 91st Avenue in Lake Pleasant. So the camera that you're seeing is from the view that you're seeing is from one of our garbage trucks, and that's one of our employees getting out of the truck and checking on the victim there. So you see one is checking on one of the drivers, the other solid waste driver is going to check on the other driver to see if there's any aid to be rendered there. And what he's doing in the truck that you see in the foreground there is he's releasing the driver from his seatbelt. He's upside down in the vehicle and pinned in the vehicle with his seatbelt, so he's in there helping him get out from by undoing the seatbelt. So these two City of Peoria employees are Nate Flores and Joe Jenkins. You see police is there. You see the driver starting to get out of the vehicle. So like I said, this is just an example of the customer service and the care that our employees and our staff have for the residents of Peoria. Like I said at the beginning, I have yet to hear, "That's not my job, that's not what I do," since I've been here. And our staff are truly amazing. So the last thing I have for this evening is a short video on some upcoming events this summer. Thank you, Mayor and Council. That's my report for the evening.
Awesome, thank you. Our youth liaisons are gone tonight, so we will do mayor's report. This marks the, do you have the video or picture up here? There you go. This marks the 250th anniversary of the United States Marine Corps. In honor of this milestone, Peoria's own firefighter Asa Pegwe has made news over the last couple of weeks by saving a person from a burning car, which we played the video here and a lot of people have seen. And we were able to send him to the Marine Corps Gala at the Marine Corps Museum in Virginia, where he was honored by the Commanding General of the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation, as well as meeting with other commanding generals that he actually served under as well. So it was a great event, and we got lots of photos, absolutely. Yeah. Next, and very important, this week marks the National Police Week. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as the National Police Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. Established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1962, National Police Week pays special recognition for those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty and protection of others. Last year, we lost a total of 147 officers in 2024, 147. And I would invite you, National Police Week, if you're ever in DC, the Law Enforcement Memorial is probably one of the most amazing memorials. We unfortunately have an officer that is on that wall that honored here, Jason Judd, who was a friend of many of us. And it's one of those things when you see it and you experience it. It's everything we do when we walk through the budget and we go through this budget process, and all of the staff members that. Everything that we're trying to do is bring people home on a daily basis, and it's very important as police officers serve our city and our community and their community. It just emphasizes that you don't know when your last breath is going to be, and it's very important for us to put more money into training, more money into staff, and continue to do the things that we're doing. So in honor of Police Week, we thank you for all of our police officers that are in the room, and all of our police officers not only serving the city, but the state of Arizona. So. And with that, we will. Next on the agenda is call to the public. As a reminder, each speaker shall refrain from personal attacks, foul or abusive language, and will maintain a civil and courteous manner and tone. Members of the audience shall respect the rights of others and will not create noise or other disturbances that will disrupt or disturb the meeting. By state law, the council is not authorized to discuss or take action on any issues raised by the public comment until a later date. Mr. John Forsyth.
I'm here tonight to talk about lies. This government lies to the people. They lie about lying. They find people to lie for them. They cover up their lies, and then they call the people liars. Before I continue, let me talk about a couple other things. Now, I have a lot of friends here tonight from Vistancia that are going to talk about AMCOR, and I have one thing to add. I'm kind of going to invoke the James Madison rule here. James Madison, for the you that don't know, was our founding father. He was our fourth president, and he was the author of the Bill of Rights. Freedom of speech. UBEC took Arizona's #1 master plan community for something like 15 years straight. In your desire to become governor, you completely and utterly fucked it up. Darwin stated the city's willing to do nothing to fix this problem. It's unacceptable. People are so pissed off. We had a fundraising event last night at Haymakers. The owner of Haymakers told us that it was the largest event of its kind that he's ever had. Your political career is over. It was pronounced dead with the words AMCOR. All of the citizens would like you to resign. The property next to West Meck, you own. You never disclosed that during the February meeting. What's going to happen to it? You're going to make a profit on it? There's a big call from the veterans in our community. See your DD 214. You say you're transparent. Why don't you show it to them? You published on Facebook, I believe, that you made a $250,000 donation to the Peoria Police. I've asked for what it is, but you haven't given it to me. What is it? Is it bribery? Is it illegal? I don't know. Everybody here believes taxes are going up. I mean, the budget went up 20%, but taxes aren't going up. That's what our government is telling us. More lies. You want us to be civil and respectful, but this isn't a democracy. It's an autocratic form of government. The Attorney General called you borderline unethical. Now, I want to quote Darwin from the last meeting. He said, quote, "I'm a licensed attorney in the state of Arizona. I'm here to tell you everything the city has done so far related to the AMCOR project is in strict compliance with state law and city code." You have me telling you that. It was time-stamped about 3/12. Now, I looked him up on the Arizona bar. He's inactive, so he's not currently an Arizona attorney. Inactive means a lawyer is currently unavailable to provide legal services. You know, it's just more of the same from this government. Lies, misrepresentations, it just goes on and on. Now, trust me, I'm going to be attacked. I'm going to be attacked as a liar tonight. Everything I presented is publicly accessible information. It's easy to find. The non-public accessible information I've been told not to talk about yet. Well, I'll see you at the next meeting.
Kind of an impromptu discussion with you, or comment tonight. I just wanted to let you know that I worked with Lisa Maddox, who is with the Neighborhood and Human Services under Chris Hallett, and also with Kelly Kincaid. I started first with my representative, Danette Dunn, and I think that she even called you, Mayor, about this situation with a veteran who had been living on the streets for about 4 years in his truck, and it was disheartening. I didn't know this gentleman. I went to meet him just to get the information to present it to Chris Hallett's department, and he was 76 years old, and he was probably at the end of his life, very resistant to any kind of help. VA, he wouldn't accept any help from the VA, but Lisa got on this. It was amazing. We were on a group text with Lisa and Kelly, myself, and the people that lived where he was parked. He was parked on the street, living on the street. And Lisa got on it, called Phoenix Rescue Mission, the VA, and it was amazing. He did not survive. He did pass away, but his last 3 weeks of his life were quality of life. And he got reunited with his daughters, and I just appreciate, I don't know if Chris is here, but Chris, his department is amazing. And I'm very grateful for that department, that they were able to give this man some dignity at the end of his life. And he was a sergeant, so he got a seven-gun salute. It was amazing. So I just wanted to let you know that we do have a great city. We got some great people here. Thank you.
This shouldn't take too long. I live in Desert Harbor between Thunderbird and Bell Road, and 91st is our problem. Everyone's speeding. We need some type of speed bump. Rolling speed bumps would be nice, at least 4 of them. We recently had a death a week ago in our neighborhood. Car got out of control, but there's so many kids going to Desert Harbor. That's my main concern. The children, and I just can see something happen unless we slow these cars down. Granted, we have a speed limit of 30. Granted, we have these flashing signs that let people know what they're going, but they don't care. And so we're hoping, along with my friend that lives also in the neighborhood next to me, that we can get somebody to go out and take a look at slowing this traffic down a bit. I'm not looking for police protection or anything. I'm just wanting to slow the cars down, is all. Because they're going 40 and 50 miles an hour all the time. Go ahead.
I'm also the HOA president for Harbor Island. We have a lot of blind curves going in that section of 91st Avenue, so it's very difficult for the residents to even get out onto 91st Avenue with the way the traffic is going. And actually, I've seen people going 60 miles an hour. The last accident that we had with the fatality, the skid marks on that, from that accident, are over 1,000 feet. There's no way they could have been going 30 miles an hour. And he completely knocked a tree out of the ground in our Hearn Park, which is at the end of our development. So it's really a concern. Right now we have over 40 signatures of people in the area, and we're looking to get more signatures because it's just getting, people are using it as a through street versus a secondary street. And it's getting very dangerous in that area. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Afterwards. So, Pam Gibson.
Good evening. I live in Trilogy in Vistanza. I've attended many of the city council meetings and I've listened to many meetings online. I've also heard several professional engineers and people from the community speak about the real hazards of having a facility like Amcor in our community. I don't think residents of Vistanza or Trilogy are opposed to having industry in Peoria that would allow us tax benefits. However, no one wants these tax benefits at the expense of sacrificing our beautiful community. We're not opposed to Amcor, just the awkward placement of it in our small, quiet bedroom community when there are logical places for Amcor, and certainly not right next to a brand-new school. How can your conscience be okay about placing a business like Amcor in our community, with all the risks, all the risk factors of which you are very aware. Would you put Amcor this close to your home or this close to your children's school? I doubt it. People have come to Trilogy from all over to retire after having long and very successful careers. And there are also so many young families with children, like we saw here tonight, who have come to Vistanzia to raise their children somewhere that's safe and is a safe family community. Please care enough about us to pull back and find another location that suits Amcor and Peoria. Otherwise, you're sending a clear and hurtful message that you don't care about us. Please give us a chance to thank you for caring enough about us and this critical situation before this goes any further. It may mean a delay and inconvenience for Amcor, but I have confidence that you can appeal to Amcor and that you can negotiate an equitable and fair solution and a win-win for Amcor and your citizens. And I believe it will also give your conscience some peace as well. This is a train wreck just waiting to happen, and you have the power to reverse the course. Please, please hear us and start making alternate plans for Amcor's relocation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Norman Reed.
Mayor Beck and council members, the citizens of Peoria understand that the city has a responsibility to grow revenue to keep up with the growing city. Residents aren't so much against Amcor coming to Peoria, but we are against the site chosen in Vistancia. And then the deception are against those chosen sites, the deception to jam this thing down our throats as the residents of Vistancia. You have heard all of this before, but the mayor and council seem unconcerned about the issues facing the local residents. First, the site was defined as an assembly and packaging facility, when in fact it is an industrial manufacturing facility. It was presented as a 50,000 square foot building and 54 feet tall, as opposed to the 2.4 million square building and 118 feet tall. If there was any concerns from the city, we did not hear them expressed, but it was told that it was to expand to meet the expanding demand for Amcor. We were only told that after the fact with no prior knowledge of a change. Then came the information that this so-called packaging plant would use 2 million gallons of water daily, with 80% being returned to the municipal water treatment plant. But this plant has no capacity to remove the potential PFAS chemical residues in our groundwater that could cause serious health risk, but the city seems unconcerned for our residents. Now, about the tank farm used to store the chemicals used in its processing. We have asked about those chemicals and told not to worry, as it isn't any concern. You would think the city would want to explore that for safety's sake, and for what about the potential chemical spills? How about the added traffic and the added safety concerns in that industrial plant will be operating 24/7 and with thousands of employees? You've heard all of this before, but all we get is justification and excuses. The residents to Blackhawk, Trilogy, and Vistancia deserve better. Where is the concern for our community, and why is the almighty dollar overshadowing your responsibility to your constituents? Remember, You were elected by us, and you have a responsibility to represent us. Please move this plant to a location that doesn't harm its residents, and both the city and Vistancia will benefit.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Kathy Bantelhem, I know. Bartelheim.
Good evening. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but you know what? I have to, because it counts, because it's important, and because it matters. I've already addressed concerns about the PFAS, forever toxic chemicals that will be released into our air and water. I've already spoken about the massive water usage required by AMCAR and us being in extreme drought. One thing I have not addressed, Mr. Mayor, is the fact that you have poked the hornet's nest. Citizens for Smart Growth, Peoria, AZ, has thousands of members and is growing daily. People are angry, and they feel betrayed by your lack of transparency and the way this whole AMCOR deal went down. Interesting that we sat through the process discussing Evergreen Business Park. You know, interesting that we didn't receive the same opportunity to discuss it and see it presented. I heard him say and I quote, out of respect to the community. Where was the respect to our community? Do you hear yourselves? And you're still surprised that we are up in arms. What a slap in the face. My friends and neighbors, you know the drill. Please stand up.
No, pause.
No.
That's not how we conduct a
No,
meeting.
this is what they want.
Ma'am, that's not how we conduct a meeting. It's
Oh,
not
you
what
didn't
they-
stop me
you
before,
have-
but now you're going to stop me.
Because legally, you have the ability to speak.
Okay, then you
don't-
know what? What we
Ma'am,
do say
you have the
is that we
ability-
do not want toxic
I
AMCOR in our
appreciate you.
community. We want it
Thank you
relayed.
thank you for your comments, ma'am.
No, I still have,
It's over with. Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next speaker. Mr. Jeff Orr, it's your speaker's off, ma'am. Because legally, this is the process. Ma'am, you can,
neighbors are here out of respect for our community, and you're not showing us any respect.
ma'am,
Shame on you, because you know what this group is? They have integrity. Thank you.
the issue is we don't,
The issue is the truth,
Ag- ag-
integrity and transparency.
again, ma'am, how you conduct yourself is exactly it. So the issue is we're not leading chance. You actually have the ability to come up and speak. We encourage you to come up and speak, but you're not,
Encourage me because you want to shut me down. Because I speak the truth.
ma'am, do you,
Sometimes the truth hurts.
it is what it is. Mr. Jeff Orr.
Mr. Mayor, council members, I'm passionate about leadership. It's what I do. I speak about leadership. I coach executives all over the country in for-profit, nonprofit organizations. In my leadership career over the decades, I have led for-profit and nonprofit organizations. And I would put leading the city in the same category as leading a nonprofit. It's a different animal. And leading a city is different than leading in the marketplace. In the marketplace, a leader casts his or her vision and works toward making that vision a reality for the organization. That's especially true if you own your own business, and I know some of us do. In a city, a leader is a servant and takes the collective purpose and vision of the people and works to make that vision a reality, not their own. It's a vision of the people collectively. So what is a servant leader? A servant leader is one who holds others in higher regard than themselves. A servant leader understands that their role is not to elevate themselves, but to elevate others, to work for the betterment of others, even when that does so to their own detriment and they don't benefit from it. A servant leader is not driven by money or economic growth or accolades or recognition. A servant leader is driven by purpose. They're driven by vision. In this case, the city's purpose and vision. Now, I dream of a Peoria led by servant leaders of integrity and character who listen to the people, leaders who don't hold power over the citizens, but instead listen and work together with the citizens to bring about a city marked by, for example, low crime, because its citizens are strong morally, economically, physically, and spiritually. Our city will be prosperous not because of money, but because of the vitality of its people. Peoria will be strong because her citizens think critically, ask hard questions, and hold their leaders to a higher standard. Peoria will be prosperous as a result of the high quality of life that we aspire to. Economic growth is not Peoria's mission. However, economic growth will be a result of us pursuing our purpose, our mission, and our values. I'm calling for servant leaders to rise up, to lead with excellence, to lead with integrity, and to keep in mind that they lead and work at the will of the people only as long as the people will it so. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Steve Riggins. Let's see, where's the button here?
Good evening, Mayor Beck, Assembly people. Thanks for letting me speak. Steve Riggins. Well, as it's been said, we're not against the MCOR project. We're against where you want to locate it in 5 North for reasons you've heard for the last 3 months. At this point, we've kind of lost trust in the city's ability to act in the best interest of the residents in certain areas. So we're here to help you. The past 4 weeks has been all action for us, and when I mean us, it's the Citizens for Smart Growth. We were concerned that very few Estancia residents were aware of the nature of the MCOR project. So we designed, printed up 7,000 two-sided color information flyers and placed them on the doorsteps of Estancia residents. We also talked to as many people as we met concerning the potential effects of the MCOR location. Part of the flyer was an invitation to e-sign a petition against the project on change.org. We did this to get just a general feel for the project. It's nothing official from residents. We wanted to know if maybe we weren't the only ones. So we got currently 4,400 people signed the petition. We have their address, the email addresses and zip codes, and we status them regularly now. Currently, we're adding about 50 signatures a day. It turns out most people had no idea of the scope of the MCOR project, and after the astonishment of the details pass, they are enraged, literally. In the last 2 weeks, we kindly submitted to the City Council a 73-page analysis detailing the zoning violations and errors in placing MCOR in 5 North. This document will be the basis of our lawsuit against the city should you decide to issue MCOR a building permit. We also posted this analysis online and sent links to all who signed the petition. We also sued the city this week for relevant document requests in January, relevant document requested in January of 2025 and have not received those documents. The reason I share these actions with you is I wanted to give you information that you could share with MCOR and blame us for following up the deal. We also want MCOR to know that residents of Estancia consider their company a threat to our community for a variety of reasons and think it's incomprehensible any resident of a master plan community would welcome a mega-sized industrial plant into the middle of their own town square. We also think MCOR is irresponsible and careless insisting to place their processing plant in 5 North in the first place. For me, there's nothing more to be said. From now on, it's on you. The ball's in your court.
Ms. Doreen Powers, or Power. I just read your not Powers part.
Yes, I've been here enough.
I think I always say
finally,
Powers,
mentioned
sorry.
it's Power, no
There you go.
S. Can I scoot this down a teeny bit? There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, maybe a little more. All right. Some people discount our opposition to MCOR as being selfish and NIMBY, not in my backyard, which could not be further from the truth. Many of us retired after decades building careers while juggling families, and we envisioned our retirement playing golf, traveling, or lounging by the pool. But here we are on a city council meeting, 35, 40 minutes away, alongside busy parents who should be home with their family, instead of attending meetings, town halls, protests, and fundraisers for our legal fund. It is not because we are selfish that we fight Amcor's location. It is because we care. We care about our neighbors, not just in Vistancia, but in surrounding areas. We worry about the chemicals, pollution, traffic, water, and other risk a factory brings to our neighborhood, especially to children who face decades of exposure. The question remains, why do you not care? I am sure that when each of you ran for office, you had the best intentions to represent your district and your city. I suspect some of you now wonder what you got yourself into, when even at the last council meeting, City Manager Henry Darwin tried to reassure you that the Amcor agreement you voted on was on the up and up, even though you must know that there are credible grounds that Amcor not only violates zoning, but the donation or gifting of the land likely violates the Arizona State Constitution's gift clause. So are you still really, really sure you want your name behind this? I am not sure how this will end, but we will continue standing up for our community. My hope is each of you will stand up. It is not too late, and do what is right and move Amcor. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Shannon Semo.
Hey, everybody. I do want to pay a compliment. That doesn't happen very often, so hey, you're welcome. I'm just kidding. I appreciate, I've noticed all of the hard work that's been done in the South in terms of like the homeless issue and stuff like that. I've been spending a lot of time at my mom's house, and I've noticed it's getting better, so I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that when I called the lieutenant to let him know about some activity that was going on in my mom's neighborhood, he was cool about it, and he took it in, and I'm hoping something will be done about it. And I also appreciate the Citizens or Institute that you go and you go every week and you see what each department does. I appreciate you guys doing that too, because it helps me to understand exactly what's going on, and it's very helpful. Okay, so now for the ugly. Okay, so my understanding was that the May 20th meeting was supposed to specifically be for comment regarding the rate increase for water. And give me 1 second. So I believe that the city may have violated ARS 9-511.01 in 3 ways with this water rate increase. First, there was no new notice of attempt or intent was adopted by the April 4th, 2025 for the hearing on June 3rd. And as required for a 60-day notice, the Peoria Times on May 1st, their notice confirmed the rescheduling from May 20, but mentions no new council motion relying on the March 4th notice, which undermines transparency. Second, the written report for May 20th was amended late on April 21st, missing the April 20th deadline, violating the 30-day rule and causing cancellation of that meeting. Third, the July 1st, 2025 effective date is 28 days after the vote on the 3rd, violating the 30-day waiting period requiring requiring it for it to be July 3rd as opposed to July 1st. And holding the hearing and the vote on the same day really does kind of limit public input. And I would ask that you delay the vote and adopt a new notice of intent and adjust the effective date and reschedule to just ensure compliance and fairness. The other issue that I wanted to talk to you guys about came up in the meeting from the budget study session. The the added project for the Peoria Sports Complex auxiliary field improvements. I'm not sure exactly what an auxiliary field is, but I do know that at the last meeting, or maybe it was a meeting before for the P83 thing, the Stadium Point, I thought you guys mentioned something about tearing stuff down so that they could fit the, fit the apartments or whatever they're building there, but you just allocated like $10 million, so maybe I'm not understanding. So if somebody could get back to me on that, I'd appreciate it, because
Thank you for your
that's
comments,
$10
ma'am.
million, dude.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
And we are adjourned.